What's happening, everybody? Thursday, February 27th, 2025. My name is Kevin Smith. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Loud Majority Live. We got a jam-packed show for you guys today. We are awaiting the release of the Epstein files. We've got cuts from pretty much everybody in the government who has had any sort of say in this matter over the last couple of years that these files will be released any minute now, really. I mean, they've been talking about it all day. Everybody and their mother has gone on every show talking about it. Marsha Blackburn, Elena Haba, Pam Bondi, everyone's talking about this. This is the big release that we have been waiting for. And look, it can't come soon enough. It can't come soon enough. Obviously, there are going to be redactions. People are not going to like that. People are not going to trust what comes out of that. But, you know, you got to protect the victims. We're going to get into all of that throughout the show today. Also, Donald Trump has made a comment on Jeffrey Epstein. We're going to be talking about Medicaid and Medicare cuts, whether or not they are going to happen, if they're going to happen, up, down, sideways, and whatever way. Also, Democrats, they just can't stop themselves. They just can't stop themselves. And President Trump, as we have repeatedly said on this show, has put himself in the 80-20 camp on many of these issues. A man named Tony Evers, I guess he's the governor of Wisconsin. Well, that guy has eaten way too many cheese curds and has lost his ever-loving mind. His new budget, ladies, has renamed you. Has renamed all of you ladies into one of the weirdest things I think I've ever heard. As a representative in the state of Maine is censured and removed from voting in the state of Maine because she refuses to go along with the nonsense trans ideology. We're going to bring you guys all that as we rock, as we roll. Before we get started, guys, hit the thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place. We are rocking. We are rolling here. We got big number, big number, big number, big number. I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. Guys, once again, as always, this show is brought to you by my friends over at Old Glory Bank. Guys, check them out over at oldglorybank.com.
What do a neurosurgeon, a country artist, and a television and radio host have in common? They all saw the writing on the wall. Big banks sharing your financial information with big government. Join them as owners in Old Glory Bank, the pro-America online bank that protects your privacy, security, and liberty. Invest today at own.oldglorybank.com.
Imagine being able to get in on owning a bank like Citigroup or Chase Manhattan at the very beginning. You'd be doing very well right now. So, guys, go to own.oldglorybank.com. That's own.oldglorybank.com and invest with Old Glory today. So, breaking last night, the Epstein files will be released at some point today. Pam Bondi, this from the Post Millennial, to begin the release of the Epstein files today. Attorney General Pam Bondi has said that she intends to release the Jeffrey Epstein files hopefully today. The files, which are expected to show the names of those who participated in Jeffrey Epstein's illicit escapades on both what is known as Epstein Island and the private plane called the Lolita Express. Bondi, speaking to Jesse Waters on Fox News last night, said the delay in the release is because they need to redact the over 200 names of victims, which, look, some of you have been impatient, which I absolutely understand, on the release of these files. Obviously, we have to keep the victims safe. There's apparently, according to Pam Bondi and Marsha Blackburn, there are over 250 victims named in a lot of these files, and we certainly don't want either to jeopardize any current investigations or jeopardize any of the victims. Here is Pam Bondi.
You said last week that you have the Epstein files on your desk. When can we see them, and what's taking so long to release them?
I do. Jesse, there are well over, this will make you sick, 200 victims. 200. So we have well over 250 actually. So we have to make sure that their identity is protected and their personal information. But other than that, I think tomorrow, the personal information of victims. Other than that, I think tomorrow, Jesse, breaking news right now, you're going to see some Epstein information being released by my office.
What kind? Are we going to see who was on the flights? Are we going to see any evidence from what he recorded? Because he had all of his homes wired with recording devices.
Yeah. What you're going to see, hopefully tomorrow, is a lot of flight logs, a lot of names, a lot of information. But it's pretty sick what that man did.
Okay. Well, we'll
along
look for
with his
that.
co-defendant.
Absolutely. And he had help. That's for
He
sure.
sure did.
He absolutely had help, and he had help from the highest echelons of society. Obviously, we know about Bill Clinton. Obviously, we know about Prince Andrew. But the question remains, who else is on there? And look, there's going to be some big people on there, and there's going to be a lot of people who got some splaining to do. Now, there's going to be a large cohort of people who are probably named in this that I don't know. How would we say this? Look, if you were on the plane one time, you took a ride from somewhere, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be using that as their defense. I went on there one time, and it was kind of weird, and I never went back again. We'll worry about you later. I'm worried about the people that went back 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 15, 20, 50 times, Bill Clinton. That's who I'm worried about. I'm worried about the people like Prince Andrew, who had to take 6 days to say goodbye to his pedophile friend. That's what I want to know. Which CEOs, which people at the top of the hierarchy, how many people knew? How many people knew and did nothing? There's going to be a lot of people out there shaking in their boots. And I want to be clear about something. This is a topic that I think is online driven, but has real world implications. What do I mean by that? Well, look, the Epstein stuff, look, if you're on X, if you're on Rumble, if you're in the podcast space, it's something we've all been talking about for quite some time. And I think it really shows how pressure being applied to our elected officials can get us the results that we want. Marsha Blackburn, the senator from Tennessee, she has been on this for quite some time about trying to get the Epstein files released so that we can see all of what happened on that ridiculous island. Here was Marsha Blackburn.
Senator, you said you're going to release what you know. What can you tell us?
Yes, indeed, and I've been so pleased that A.G. Bondi and Director Patel have worked with me on this. As she said, we have to make certain that these victims, and it is over 250, that their names are redacted, they are protected. And Maria, this is going to be a phase 1 release in short order. I will have the hard copy in my hand. A.G. Bondi is responsible for what will be the public release on this. She has worked diligently on this, and so appreciative that we can begin to get this information, that we can begin to break apart what became a global human trafficking, sex trafficking ring, about $150 billion a year business. It is time to get some justice for these victims, for these women and children, and this will be a phase 1 release. There will be more to come.
There will absolutely be more to come. Look, I want to be clear. While I have no doubt that the first release of many of these documents are going to give us some of the answers that we want, I don't think it is going to give us all of the answers we want. Now, with all that being said, I said it before. Look, there's going to be a lot of redactions. People, you're not going to get everything you want out of this one. However, I really do believe that this shows that if enough public pressure can be put on through the online sphere, through the X world, through the podcasting space, we can start getting results out of our government. The Epstein stuff, look, you go to the supermarket and you ask people about Jeffrey Epstein, some people have probably heard of him, but it's not really something that everyone is talking about. If you're watching this show, you're probably talking about it all the time. If you are an activist, you're talking about it all the time. I don't think to the average normie, this is something that is at the top of their mind at all times. However, once this stuff gets released, I think it's going to be something that everyone is talking about, and it's driven by you. It's driven by each and every one of you. Continuing to press, continuing to keep it in the news, not letting it die. Because complacency and ignoring the topic is exactly what keeps things like this hidden, keeps things like this underground. So I want to thank everybody out there who's watching right now, who continue to talk about this, continue to tweet about it, continue to make this the issue that it deserves to be. Because you're the reason this stuff is being released. This story's been going on for like 15 years. And some people have never, ever let up on it. And it is because of the horrors of this. And look, people that I think sometimes miss the mark, they've been saying it for years, that this was going on, that the elites of our world were engaged in this sort of crap, in this sort of vile, disgusting behavior. So I want to thank all the people who have continued to keep this in the news. Elena Habba, for her part, was on Piers Morgan last night talking about what is in some of these files, what we can expect, and she seems genuinely horrified by some of the stuff. And look, Elena Habba has been a lawyer for a long time. She's been a lawyer for quite some time. I'm sure she has defended and covered and been a part of some pretty horrific stuff. So for her to make these sorts of comments is incredibly impactful. Before we get to Elena Habba, guys, hit the thumbs up button. Share the video out wherever you're watching from. Keep rocking, keep rolling here. If the Epstein stuff does get released within this hour, we will be sure to bring it to you. Before we keep going, guys, head on over to lfatv.us. That's lfatv.us. That's your home base, your mothership, your landing pad for all things LFA-TV related. Check out the LFA-TV store. And while you guys are there, consider becoming a monthly donor over at lfatv.us. That's how we keep the lights on over here. That's how we keep the lights on over here. We can't do it without your help, so we really do appreciate it, guys. LFATV.us. So Elena Habba, the special advisor to the president, was on Piers Morgan, I believe this was last night or earlier today, talking about the imminent release of these files. Here was Elena Habba.
Jeffrey Epstein files, we're told, are to be imminently unleashed. And already we saw the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, say that the scale of what happened is far worse than anyone realized. Well over 200, maybe 250 victims, and that we're going to get information either later today or tomorrow from these files. What can you tell me about that?
I believe it will be today. I was just with, I saw Pam and Kash in the White House just before coming on your show. And I can tell you that I haven't been privy to it yet, but I know it is coming out. They will be taking portions of it. We have to be patient. And I said this last night at a dinner with some media. And I said, I think America needs to remember one thing. We are going to be promises made, promises kept. But when you're dealing with victims, and by the way, this is a perfect example of a case that was vetted, that went through trial, that had testimony, and was prosecuted the right way. I don't preemptively attack. That's just not the way I operate. But in this case, in Epstein's case, it is incredibly disturbing. We have flight logs, we have information, names that will come out.
Is it going to be shocking?
I don't see how it's not shocking that there were so many individuals that were hidden and kept secret and not been held accountable. Let's talk about the reverse. I believe in accountability. So you have to now go through your process. Now, I won't say they're guilty until they go through their time in court. But again, now it's time for accountability. We have seen for so many years, Piers, in this country, many investigations, subpoenas, testimonies in Congress, et cetera, et cetera. But there's a general frustration with accountability. We take it halfway, we don't take it home. And I really believe that now with Kash and Pam, there will be accountability.
And we know that only one person so far has actually gone to prison over that whole scandal. It was Ghislaine Maxwell, the former lover of Jeffrey Epstein. No man so far has actually been put in prison as a result of what happened. Do you think by releasing information from these files, we are likely to see criminal actions being taken?
Absolutely.
Really?
I think it would be negligent for us not to. You have to hold individuals who are indeed rapists accountable. We have to have them tried, in my opinion. And I do believe in that. You know, nobody should be just dismissed. You have to have your time in court and your case will be heard. But to hide lists, to protect political friends, all of that, we don't have time for that.
We don't have time for that. So obviously we await the release of the documents, what they have. According to Marsha Blackburn, this will be a phase one rollout. This will continue to happen. As I said, I want to know the people who were on that plane more than once. I want to know the people that went there all the time. And as I said, this is, and will continue to be something that was driven by the online community, by new media. This is a story that we broke. Well, not we. I mean, the online world broke because the legacy media outlet refused to do it. Why? Did they have friends? Did they have ulterior motives? We know that to be the case. If you guys remember a couple years ago, Project Veritas released the Amy Robach video of her saying that she had the story years ago, but ABC shut down her story because they wanted access to Prince William and Kate Middleton, which is absolutely absurd. Remember this?
I've had the story for 3 years. I've had this interview with Virginia Roberts. We would not put it on the air. First of all, I was told, who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is. This is a stupid story. Then the palace found out that we had her whole allegations about Prince Andrew and threatened us a million different ways. We were so afraid we wouldn't be able to interview Kate and Will that also quashed the story. And then Alan Dershowitz was also implicated in it because of the planes. She told me everything. She had pictures. She had everything. She was in hiding for 12 years. We convinced her to come out. We convinced her to talk to us. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton. We had everything. I tried for 3 years to get it on, to no avail, and now it's all coming out, and it's like these new revelations, and I freaking had all of it. I'm so pissed right now. Like, every day I get more and more pissed because I'm just like, oh my God, what we had was unreal. Other women backing it up. Hey, yep. Brad Edwards, the attorney, 3 years ago, saying there will come a day when we will realize Jeffrey Epstein was the most prolific pedophile this country has ever known. And I had it all 3 years ago.
Well, you know what, Amy Robach, where are you now? Tell us what you had. You already lost your job at Good Morning America because you were sleeping with your coworker, as opposed to, I think she used to be married to the guy from like Beverly Hills 90210 or Melrose Place or something. So where's Amy Robach now? You got nothing to hide now? Bring it all out. There will come a day that we will realize that Jeffrey Epstein was the most prolific pedophile in American history. And I'm so happy, that Donald Trump is the one to release this crap. Promises made, promises kept, not only to the online community, but to the American people to protect young girls from this crap. As a matter of fact, I almost can't think of a single promise that Donald Trump made on the campaign trail that isn't either in the process of happening or has already happened. We say promises made, promises kept, and we mean it. We mean it. Donald Trump was asked about this earlier today on his way out of the White House. I believe he was going to meet Keir Starmer. Here was President Trump on Jeffrey Epstein.
I was not a fan of Jeffrey Epstein, and you watched people yesterday saying that I threw him out of a club. I didn't want anything to do with him. That was many, many years ago. It shows you one thing, that I have good taste, okay? Now, other people, they went all over with him. They went to his island. They went all over the place. He was very well known in Palm Beach. his island, whatever his island was, wherever it is, I was never there. Find out the people that went to the island. But Jeffrey Epstein was not somebody that I respected. I threw him out. In fact, I think the great James Patterson, who's a member of Mar-a-Lago, made a statement yesterday that many years ago I threw him out. I'm not a fan of Jeffrey Epstein.
Hold on a minute. Actually, breaking right now. Let me pull this up real quick, guys. Give me 2 seconds. It seems as though. It seems like Jack Posobiec, my good friend Jack Posobiec, has the Epstein files. They are now out in the public. Let's see here. Who has them? Oh, well, holy crap. Everybody's got it. All right, guys. It looks like we are going to get lucky in this hour. Here is Jack Posobiec holding the Epstein files, phase 1. So we're going to wait for them to go through it, and we will bring it to you. We'll bring it to you as it happens. Apparently, who else has it? It looks like, judging by this photo, DC Drano has it. Libs of TikTok, Liz Wheeler. A lot of people have the files right now. Let's see. What do we got here? This stuff is breaking. Look, this is happening live right now. We're going to wait. Let me see. Where's Jack at? Let me check out Jack's. Let me check out Jack's Twitter right now. Yep. Jack says he will be releasing it in 45 minutes. Damn it, Jack. 45 minutes he'll be releasing the Epstein files. I cannot wait. This is what we've all been waiting for. And look, can I pull Donald? If look, remember I was talking about the online world, about how we did this? This is the online world. I think that's Libs of TikTok, second from the left. I could be wrong. DC Drano, Liz Wheeler, Jack Posobiec. These are online names. We did this. We made this happen. So once again, I want to thank everybody. We're going to bring you as much as we can as it comes in. I'll be checking Twitter over the course of the next several, or what do we got? 35 minutes left of the show. 35 minutes of the show. We'll bring you guys what we have. As we look, we're all waiting for it. So hang out real quick. We'll see what we get. Before that, guys, Mike Lindell.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 20% on our brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one I've worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get our 2025 6-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, just $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our first ever mega sale. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship is sailed, because right now, every order ships absolutely free.
Guys, head on over to MyPillow.com. Promo code LOUD. That's MyPillow.com. Promo code LOUD for up to 80% off everything on the website. That's MyPillow.com. Promo code. Oh, look at that. We got the live chat up today. Very good stuff. Chat, let's see. What do we got here? Who is on the list, chat? We got big people. We got big numbers watching all over the place. Let me know who you think is on that list. I'm curious to see what you guys think as I get a sip. Who do you think is going to be on those flight logs? Who do you think is going to be on the list? Arrow Pink, how are you? Lauren, how are you? Once again, as we keep going, before we get into more of it, I want to see who the chat says is on there. For my local audience this Saturday, come down to Legends Bar and Grill in Kings Park for the Kings Park St. Patrick's Day Parade. Do a little activism, get involved. We're going to be having some fun down there. Show you guys how to do it. Show you guys how to get it done, how to get petitions, how to do all of that in a really controlled environment with a lot of Republicans. And if you come down, I'm buying drinks. So, what the hell? Come on down. You're the next contestant on Get Us Some Petitions to Keep a Really Bad Person Off the Ballot. Let's see, who do we get? We did Jamie Dimon. Clinton, okay, Hunter Biden, the Clintons and Obama. What do we got? Chuck Schumer. Oh, I can't imagine Chuck Schumer having sex. So Serena Williams, that's a new name. I don't know about Serena being on there. That would shock me. All right, first off, the real Kate, Gene Hackman's dog. Come on. The guy's not even cold yet. Too soon. Rest in peace, Gene Hackman. Great actor. Loved him in The Birdcage. If anybody's never seen The Birdcage, go watch that. Kevin Spacey, Paul Pelosi. I don't know. I think we're going to get more CEOs than political figures, if I'm being honest with you. I think it's going to be more like big investors and like the CEO of Pfizer and all that. I'll be honest with you. I really hope Rosie O'Donnell's on there. I really, really do. John Podesta, that's real. Chrissy Teigen, maybe that's where she got that glue for all of her face, Steph. Once again, guys, hit that thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place as we imminently await the release of the Epstein. It sucks because there is so much more that I want to talk about today, but it seems like this is the only thing that's going to be happening as I'm scrolling Twitter, waiting for all the goodies to come out. Let's see. Bum. Who do we got? All right, this from the Post Millennial came out a minute ago. Epstein Files Phase 1 includes a list of contacts, spans 100 pages. Let's read you this. Phase 1, Thursday, an advanced look at those files from the New York Post reveals that the document spans over 100 pages and includes a list of contacts. The release is part of the promise. A source who gave the details to the New York Post said the first release may be a disappointment. Here we go. Pay attention, everybody. The first release may be a disappointment to those who are interested to know exactly who took part in the scandalous criminal services. Epstein was on trial for trafficking. Human Events' Jack Posobiec was among those who got the first glimpse, posting a photo of him at the White House getting it. The Post reported that there is no client list in the first binder, though more materials are expected to be released. Epstein died in prison. We know that. Attorneys for the Department of Justice have said that the flight logs, names, and other details will be revealed. Although it's unclear if more will be released today, many high-profile people linked to Jeffrey Epstein, Prince Andrew, Alec Baldwin, George Stephanopoulos, many others. So it seems as though, according to the first look gotten by the New York Post, we may be disappointed. We may be disappointed with the first list, which, I'm not thrilled with. But I'm also not shocked by. I'm also not shocked by it at all. Look, if everybody thought there was going to be this big thing coming out, let's see, what do we got here? News continuing to break at this hour. Where the hell is it? Boom. Look, we're going to bring you guys as much stuff as we can as it comes in. The other guy was Cernovich in the picture. Okay. The other guy was Mike Cernovich. Once again, a very online presence. So, this is us. This is the online community. New York Post is trying to... That Patriot... Look, no. I know a lot of guys at the Post, they don't do that. I know all the high-level reporters at the New York Post, they certainly don't do that. I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that for a second. We need to produce some Epstein Files bingo cards. All right, it's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. Although, I mean, look, as funny as it is, I don't really think it's... I don't think it's not, it's not the best idea to do. It's not really the best idea, but we're going to move on because there is other stuff that I want to cover. I'll break in with this as it happens, but as some of this gets released. So we'll break in with that as it happens. So, let's see, what do we got here? Oh, yes, this is something else I wanted to talk about. Oh, what do we got? What do we have here? Let's see, do we have more stuff? No, nothing yet. Nothing yet. I guess they're just going through it. I know Jack said he'd be releasing it at 2 p.m. today. We'll see. Be releasing it at 2 p.m. today. Let's see. What do we got? No, nothing. Nothing about that. All right, so we're going to move on to the next. I don't know about that. Let's see. Newsweek. Epstein. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what all comes of that. So let's let's move on to the next story because I do have more stuff that I want to cover. Once again, as I said, we're going to continue to bring you all this stuff as it breaks. But let's see. I was already thinking that disappointed. Like, I know a lot of people are going to be disappointed with the release of a lot of these documents, and I think this happens a lot, and it's going to happen a lot as we move forward in this administration, whether it's the MLK files or the RFK files or the JFK files or the aliens or Epstein or 9/11 or any of that stuff. I think a lot of these things have been, how would you say it, built up, particularly the ones that are older. Kennedy, RFK, stuff like that. It's been built up so much for so long over the course of time that when we actually get the real reports on it, I think it's going to be kind of a dud. I think it's not going to be a lot of what people expect. And it's a shame. It's a shame that that's going to happen, but it is what it is. Let's move on to some current events because Democrats continue their level of insanity. Democrats continue their insane crap when it comes to trans baloney, trans nonsense, stuff that every American seems to hate. The state of Maine is not doing itself any favors, whether it's Susan Collins or it's his new person, Laurel Libby. Laurel Libby is a representative from the state of Maine, and that the House of Representatives in Maine just voted to censure her on Tuesday night for a recent social media post pointing out that a transgender high school athlete won a girls' competition. The Maine House's Democratic majority, led by its speaker, passed a censure resolution on Tuesday night 75-70. Libby is now no longer allowed to speak on the House floor or vote until she issues an apology. Libby told Fox News Digital in an exclusive interview after the vote that she does not plan to apologize for the post. After the censure had been determined, the speaker told Libby that House members would take a break while Libby considered her apology. I told him we do not need to take ease. as I'm going to continue speaking up for the girls of Maine. Here she was speaking on that.
So here's what Riley Gaines, who, of course, we've had on this program a number of times, big supporter of biological males not being allowed into women's sports, said about your plight. She said, quote, a female representative in Maine lost her ability to vote and speak on the House floor for defending girls and women. No, this didn't happen in Afghanistan. It happened in America. The House Speaker, Ryan Fecteau, said that until you apologize, you can neither speak on the floor nor vote. What do you plan to do about it? Are you ready to go to the mat on this?
Well, I considering my options, I do not believe that this censure is constitutional. I don't believe that the legislature with a simple majority vote has the authority to censure a sitting legislator voted in by my district, silencing their voices. And so I am exploring options there.
Exploring options there. So they continue to shut down the concept of speech when it comes to the trans issue. And I mean, look, Maine, you're not really helping yourself. You're not really helping yourself. Whether it's Susan Collins voting against all of the Democratic norms, voting against all of Donald Trump's picks, you're not really doing yourself any favors. All right, so apparently Emily Austin also has it as well. Like I said, I'm really proud of this. I'm really proud of the fact that so many online people are getting this sort of information out about the Epstein stuff. But let's move on, because let's keep up with the track that we're on here, because believe me, I could spin this off. I'm going to end up spinning this off into other Epstein stuff throughout the day, and I want to make sure we keep it on track here. So another wild story comes out of the Wisconsin State House, out of the Cheesehead State, the Packer State of Wisconsin, where the governor, Tony Evers, takes the 80-20 position like Democrats have basically been doing the entire time on every single issue. What do I mean by that? Well, I can't believe he did this. I can't believe the absurdity. I'm having a difficult time even understanding why Tony Evers would include this sort of language in their new budget proposal. What am I talking about here? Well, mother, the word mother, has been replaced with a, how would you say this? A rather crude term. And I'm going to let Senator Ron Johnson tell you what it is, because I don't really want to say it to you. This is actual language that has been replaced in the Wisconsin budget. Y'all ready for this?
The governor of your state, Tony Evers, doubling down on his move to replace gendered language in the new state budget proposal, changing words like mother to inseminated person. Father changes to natural parent. Senator, your reaction to that?
Well, first of all, when you denigrate a beautiful term like mother and try and substitute inseminated person, first of all, that is just gross. It is gross. It's also insane. So I don't know what he's saying we're lying about. It's his budget. He's the one that is trying to substitute inseminated person for a beautiful term called mother. There's no justification for it.
No justification for it. Congratulations, feminists. You have reached the top. You have hit the peak. Inseminated person. Also, I don't want to be too crass here, but there's also a bunch of people who would fall into that sort of category who don't end up becoming mothers. Keep this up, guys. Keep it up, Democrats. Republicans are never going to lose again. We're never going to lose again. I can't believe I even had to show that to you guys. The fact that that exists in the real world is mind-boggling to me. That, you see, and I've mentioned this before, it is not that every Democrat or even Governor Evers believes this is a good idea. It is the fact that nobody has the courage to tell the one lunatic in the room, hey, why don't you just maybe stop with that crap? It's not really all that challenging. It's not hard to do. Is there a more vile... Yeah, I'm going to pop the live chat up. Chat, what do you think about that? Ladies, what do you think? What do you think? How do you feel about the new language in the... what do you think about the new language in the Wisconsin budget? How do you feel about that? How do you feel about your new terminology? I don't understand how Democrats have convinced women to vote for them over the course of the last 10 years. It is just abortion. And look, I'm as pro-life as they come, but if people like Lindsey Graham would shut up about national abortion bans, we would win the women vote. We would win the women vote. Inseminated person? Are you shitting me? I don't even know. It's one of the, there's so many things that happen in Democratic politics right now that I have a difficult time. Even comprehending. Like, who's the person who thought that was a good... Find me the PR rep in Wisconsin that was like, yeah, let's do that. More of that. That's the clip that you need to show your friends. But, Handmaid's Tale. What is more Handmaid's Tale-ish than referring to mothers as inseminated people? I thought birthing person was as far as they were willing to go. But it turns out just when you think Democrats can't get more nutty, can't get more batshit crazy, they go, hey, hold my beer. Hold my beer. Guys, we'll be back in 1 second. Before we do that, once again, hit the thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place. We are rocking. We are rolling. Check out Old Glory Bank.
When big banks decide who gets access to America's financial systems and who doesn't, who do you think gets left out? Middle Americans who proudly wave their pro-America values. Cancel culture in banking is corrosive. It limits your participation in a vibrant, free market economy. Fortunately, you can fight back. You now have the opportunity to invest in the bank that's investing in a fair American banking system, one based in freedom. Ownership in Old Glory Bank, the pro-America online bank, is here. Old Glory Bank is a full-service FDIC-insured bank that's the alternative to overreaching, un-American big banks. We stand for privacy, security, and liberty. We stand for freedom, family, faith, and the flag. We stand for all the values you stand for, and for the values big banks can't stand. So help keep banking in the hands of Main Street, not Wall Street. To invest in Old Glory Bank, go to oldglorybank.com.
Guys, check out oldglorybank.com. That's oldglorybank.com. Guys, look, there is no reason why you guys should not have active certified deposit accounts right now at 3.5% interest rates over at Old Glory Bank. Guys, John Rich, Larry Elder, Ben Carson, Americans, conservatives, great people. Check out Old Glory Bank. Go to own.oldglorybank.com. That's own.oldglorybank.com. Yet, no matter what Democrats do, they simply just can't get out of their own way. And in a minute, we're going to show you, CNN, the entire purpose of CNN is basically just to get Scott Jennings elected to the Senate. That's basically the point now. If Scott Jennings, who I've gotten to meet, had a good chat with, if he doesn't run for Senate, he's the stupidest person in the world. If he doesn't run for Senate, I don't know what the hell he is doing. Because every day he gets to go on CNN and whip more and more people up, down, sideways, left, and right. I'm pretty sure that CNN is, at this point, going out onto the street and just trying to find random people to try to defeat Scott Jennings. I think that's their goal. I really, really do. Here's Scott Jennings making a mockery of someone named Touré, which someone let me know, apparently he's on the Tennis Channel. I didn't know that there was a tennis channel. First off, how is there enough tennis happening around the world for there to even be a tennis channel? But they're just trying to grab anybody they can. Anybody they can, up, down, all over the place to get it.
Can we be real for a moment that Doge is not about cutting money, right? It's not about spending. It's about shrinking government so that it'll be too small to stop Trump with whatever else is in this plan.
Why would the government stop Trump? Isn't he the head of the government? You're saying the government will be too small to stop Trump. If Trump's the president, why would the government, the bureaucracy, be actively trying to stop him?
Because he is shredding the Constitution and creating an authoritarian dictatorship. That's why.
And no matter who is in office, I'm going to hold them accountable. But more importantly, I'm going to make sure the government is working for the American people.
Both of you all made an interesting point, which is that your view is that Trump is shredding the Constitution. I'd like to hear more about that. But that it seems to me that you all both believe that the unelected part of our government, the bureaucracy, has a responsibility to resist the political leadership. Is that your view?
That's not actually
That's
what
not
we
at all
said. We
what I
said they
said.
are
Yeah, it is.
upholding the Constitution, the principles of the Constitution, and at times
How
that we
is
have
Trump
seen.
shredding the Constitution?
My God, he's like.
I mean, seriously, do we have to
believe in
give
the
you a
balance of
civics
power,
lesson
Scott.
that we have?
I don't know
we put all power in the executive
How is
branch.
holding the
The
government-
legislative branch, the FBI. Now we're in control of the military. We're
Yes.
silencing media.
Commander-in-Chief,
This
head
is
of the
what you
military.
do
He has
in a
executive power.
dictatorship.
Are you suggesting that the president is not the commander-in-chief of the military?
I am suggesting that the president is going to put in charge somebody who is going to contravene the Constitution. And at some near point, this conversation will look very silly for you because it will be obvious. And right now, you're
Wait,
gaslighting.
he's gonna
but when we
put-
get to the actual
He's
rubber
gonna
on the
put-
road of
I'm
this,
sorry.
it will be clear.
I'm interested in this conversation. He's going to put someone in charge who will contravene the Constitution. Like who? What do you mean by that? The president is in charge of the military, is he not? You said he's going to put someone in charge of the military?
The president is in charge of the military. That is how it works.
He was elected president. We, according to the Constitution, vest all executive authority in a president. And the concept that the military should be an independent agency or that the bureaucracy should resist the political leadership of this government is extraordinarily dangerous.
That's what we said. That's such a straw
not what
man.
we
It's
said. That's
ridiculous.
literally not what we said.
I'm just repeating back to you your own
I
words.
did not.
I mean, he's just having too much fun. First off, I'd like to thank that guy, Touré, whoever the hell you might be. I don't know who you are. But I'd like to thank you for dressing up while you're on television. Looks like me when I go to a Chinese buffet. The guy couldn't even shave before going on television. But they've got to do this. They have to go find the most random-ass people to go on CNN because nobody wants to take that beating from Scott Jennings. Oh, my way. Is that Joy Reid in disguise? Maybe. Look, I think Joy Reid's going to end up on The View. That's just my nugget. I think they're going to fire Sarah Hayes, and they're going to pick up Joy Reid. That's what I think's going to happen, if you really want to know. But they have to do this. They have to do this. Why? Because when they put elected representatives on, their talking points simply do not work. Their talking points just don't work. What do I mean by that? Well, they put J.B. Pritzker on the show, and he decided to beclown himself as usual. J.B. Pritzker, of course, is the really, really, really fat man who is the governor of Tennessee. He's the governor. Oh, what the hell did I do here? He's the governor of Tennessee. I'm sorry, of Illinois. Excuse me. The governor of Illinois. And the catastrophizing sort of language that the Democrats have been promoting for a while now simply isn't landing. Remember, threat to democracy, Donald Trump was Hitler, all these things. They have no talking points because they have no leader. So when they put out their nonsense, when they put out their beclownery, you get crap like this. That, look, no one believes this. But Democrats have been stewing in their own smell for so long that nobody who works for a J.B. Pritzker or a Hakeem Jeffries or any of these people will tell them this isn't working.
A very stark warning that you're delivering there. Obviously invoking the Holocaust, obviously invoking, a horrible, horrible thing that took the lives of ancestors of yours and ancestors of mine is evocative. I would also think it might be controversial. People might think, how can you possibly compare what happened in Germany in World War II to what's going on here in the United States?
Well, we're talking about the death of a constitutional republic. That's what happened in Germany in 1933, 1934. And we're seeing today that you've got an administration in Washington that's ignoring court orders, literally ignoring when a judge says you can't do this. They're going ahead and doing it anyway. The question is, where does that stop? The courts don't have the ability to enforce their orders, and the president is supposed to obey them, but is not. So this is just one piece of a very long story that's developed over the last 6 weeks of the ignorance of constitutional norms and indeed disobeying the Constitution, announcing that we're going to do away with birthright citizenship. That's been established. Well, it's in the Constitution, for goodness sakes. So I really think people need to wake up to what's happening in Washington. And I felt like, based on my own experience, I led the building of a Holocaust museum. I worked with Holocaust survivors for a decade to open that museum. I know what happened day by day almost that led to the Holocaust. And I'm not suggesting that's exactly where we're going, but I know what happened in the early 30s with the death of the German democracy, and that could happen in the United States.
And what do you think would result? I mean, obviously, it is important for us to be upholding norms, and obviously, if the president is told by a court, you can't do that or whatever, he has the right to appeal it, but he doesn't have the right to ignore it. Where do you think this ends?
Well, that is the question. The question is, will people wake up? Will people show up to protest, to make sure that their representatives understand that they can't go along with this? This is literally the end of the republic as we know it. If we don't stand up to Donald Trump in his, decision to essentially break down the government according to what he wants and according to what he believes is in the best interests of the wealthiest and most powerful people in the country. We need people to get out there and have their views known. And that's really what I was talking about when I spoke up at my State of the State.
Oh, is that what you said, fat ass? I don't think that's what you meant. I'm just rolling the dice here. I don't think that's what you meant when you made the Nazi allusions to Donald Trump. I just don't think that's what you meant. That they need to get out and protest what? The Supreme Court last night at midnight just put a pause on the lower court's ruling that said Donald Trump had to release all the foreign aid. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. I'm telling you. Keep opposing Donald Trump. Keep not giving him a single win. This is why people don't trust you anymore. This is why when you say these sorts of things, we laugh in your face. You did it to yourself. And you're on a show with Jake Tapper, who denied for years that Joe Biden had any sort of cognitive decline. And it was a conspiracy theory to say so, except for the fact that right now, Jake Tapper is currently releasing a book about the Biden mental decline cover-up. So he denied it for 4 years, and now he's profiting off of the conspiracy that Joe Biden was basically dead since the beginning of the election. I have no feeling of shame when these people get fired because they did it to themselves. And the honest ones, the ones who are actually like real human beings that you can talk to, end up going independent and still making a career for themselves. Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson, Glenn Beck. I mean, has anybody heard from Don Lemon recently? It's no wonder Brian Stelter went crawling back on hands and knees over to CNN. Guys, we're going to check out right now. Will Johnson is coming up next on LFA TV, rumble.com/LFA TV. Wherever you're watching, make sure you give me a follow over at rumble.com/LoudMajorityUS. I really do appreciate the support, guys, helping the growth of all the channels. We're about to hit 52,000 on Facebook. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Guys, also head on over to LoudMajorityUSA.com. Pick up the Fight shirt. Giddy up. We got this in every color imaginable. You can grab your Doge hat. All of your good stuff over there. Guys, I will catch you all back live tomorrow. I'm sure we'll have Epstein updates. We'll bring it to you then. Until then, everybody, stay loud.